Rome, the unrivaled master of the known world, stood at the height of its power. Its legions stretched from the windswept coasts of Britannia to the sun-baked sands of Egypt, and its influence shaped the destiny of millions. Yet, in the year 9 AD, a disaster struck that would shake the very foundations of the empire and haunt its leaders for generations to come. Deep in the shadowy forests of Germania, 3 entire Roman legions, nearly 20,000 men, vanished without a trace. They were led into a deadly trap by Arminius, a man who had once worn the Roman uniform and learned their ways. In a matter of hours, the pride of Rome was annihilated, their discipline and training no match for the chaos of the ambush. News of the disaster swept through Rome like wildfire. The city, accustomed to victory, was paralyzed by disbelief and fear. Emperor Augustus, the architect of Rome's golden age, was devastated. It is said he wandered his palace in anguish, crying out, "Quintilius Varus, give me back my legions!" The loss was not just military, it was deeply personal. Arminius, once a trusted Roman ally and even a citizen, had turned Rome's own tactics against them. He became the embodiment of betrayal, a cunning adversary who exposed the limits of Roman power. His actions shattered the illusion of invincibility that Rome had carefully cultivated. The specter of Arminius haunted the Roman psyche. He was no longer just a man. He was a legend, a ghostly figure lurking in the nightmares of generals and senators alike. His defiance became a rallying cry for those who resisted Roman rule, and a source of shame for those who served the empire. For Rome, capturing Arminius was no longer just a military objective. It became a matter of national honor, a test of the empire's resolve. The Senate demanded action, and the generals plotted revenge. The loss of the sacred eagle standards, symbols of Rome's divine favor, was an insult that could not go unanswered. The defeat was catastrophic. The eagles, once held high above victorious legions, now lay in enemy hands, paraded as trophies by the Germanic tribes. The broken shields and scattered helmets told a story of humiliation and loss, a wound to Rome's pride that would not easily heal. Rome's response was swift and relentless. New armies were raised, commanders were chosen for their ruthlessness and resolve. The mission was clear: recover the lost eagles, restore Rome's honor, and erase the memory of the man who had brought the empire to its knees. The quest for vengeance had begun. The forests of Germania would become the stage for a relentless pursuit as Rome sought to reclaim its lost glory and prove, once and for all, that no enemy could defy the might of a superpower. Arminius, a product of the Roman system, was born to a Germanic chieftain. Raised in Rome, he learned their ways, becoming a Roman citizen and knight. He commanded Germanic troops, understanding Roman strengths and weaknesses. To the Romans, he was a trusted ally. To his people, a liberator. Arminius secretly united tribes against Rome, using his Roman knowledge to plot rebellion. He was a man of two worlds, ready to use one to free the other. In the year 9 AD, a cunning and fateful deception unfolded on the edge of the Roman Empire. Arminius, a trusted Germanic officer serving under the Roman general Publius Quinctilius Varus, approached Varus with alarming news. He claimed that a minor uprising had broken out among the local Germanic tribes, urging Varus to act swiftly to suppress the unrest before it could spread. Confident in Arminius's loyalty and eager to maintain order, Varus accepted the report without suspicion, setting the stage for disaster. Trusting Arminius's guidance, Varus led 3 of Rome's most experienced legions deep into the unfamiliar and foreboding Teutoburg Forest. The Roman soldiers, weighed down by heavy armor and equipment, marched in long, vulnerable columns through the dense, mist-shrouded woods, following what they believed was a safe route provided by their local guide. Suddenly, chaos erupted. The Roman column, stretched thin and unprepared for battle, was ambushed from all sides by thousands of Germanic warriors. Arminius, who had secretly united the tribes, revealed his true allegiance as the trap was sprung. The Romans, caught off guard, struggled to form defensive lines in the thick undergrowth. The dense forest neutralized the Romans' disciplined tactics and superior formations. Instead of open battlefields, they found themselves fighting in muddy, rain-soaked terrain where visibility was poor and movement was nearly impossible. The battle quickly turned into a brutal slaughter, with Roman soldiers cut down in the confusion. For 3 relentless days, the Romans fought desperately for survival. Every attempt to break free led them into new ambushes, as the Germanic warriors used their knowledge of the land to encircle and overwhelm the invaders. Exhaustion, fear, and the relentless attacks shattered Roman morale. In the end, Varus, seeing no hope of escape or victory, chose to fall on his own sword rather than be captured. The sacred Roman eagles, symbols of the legion's honor, were seized by the enemy, a devastating blow to Roman pride and prestige. Arminius's betrayal and the destruction of 3 Roman legions sent shockwaves throughout the empire. News of the disaster plunged Rome into mourning and disbelief, forever marking the Teutoburg Forest as the site of one of Rome's greatest military catastrophes. The Varian disaster, a devastating defeat that saw 3 Roman legions annihilated in the dark forests of Germania, demanded vengeance from Rome. The Roman people were shocked and humiliated, their pride wounded by the loss of so many soldiers and the sacred eagle standards. In response, the young and charismatic general Germanicus was chosen to lead the charge for retribution. He was seen as the hope of Rome, a leader who could restore the honor and glory that had been so brutally stripped away. In the year 14 AD, Germanicus assembled a massive force, 8 legions supported by cavalry and auxiliaries, and marched deep into the wild, untamed lands of Germania. The terrain was treacherous, filled with thick forests, swamps, and rivers that slowed the Roman advance. Yet, Germanicus pressed on, determined to bring justice to those who had humiliated Rome and to reclaim the lost standards. His campaign was not just a military operation, but a mission to restore Roman honor and demonstrate the might of the empire to both friend and foe. The campaigns that followed were brutal and relentless. Germanicus ordered the burning of villages and the destruction of crops, punishing any tribe that had allied with Arminius, the mastermind behind the Varian disaster. Fierce battles erupted as Roman troops clashed with Germanic warriors in the dense forests and open clearings. The fighting was savage, with both sides suffering heavy losses. Germanicus sought to break the spirit of the Germanic tribes and force them into submission, but the enemy proved resilient and resourceful. Eventually, Germanicus and his men reached the site of the infamous Teutoburg Forest massacre. The ground was still littered with the bones and armor of fallen Romans, a grim and somber reminder of the price Rome had paid. The soldiers paused to honor their lost comrades, their resolve hardened by the sight of the devastation. The memory of the disaster fueled their determination to succeed, even as the challenges mounted. Despite several hard-fought victories, Germanicus was never able to capture Arminius himself. The Germanic leader was a master of guerrilla tactics, using the forests to his advantage and striking the Romans when they least expected it. Arminius's knowledge of the land and his ability to inspire his people made him a formidable opponent, and he continued to evade Roman capture, keeping the dream of Germanic freedom alive. Still, Germanicus achieved some important successes. He managed to recover 2 of the lost eagle standards, powerful symbols of Roman pride and military honor. The return of these standards was celebrated throughout the empire, but the victories came at a tremendous cost in lives and resources. The wilderness of Germania had proven to be a harsh and unforgiving battlefield. By 16 AD, Emperor Tiberius, wary of the mounting losses and the difficulty of holding territory so far from Rome, decided to recall Germanicus. The campaign was brought to an end, and the dream of conquering Germania east of the Rhine was abandoned. Germanicus's war in the wilderness had restored some Roman honor, but it also revealed the limits of Roman power in the face of determined resistance and the unforgiving Germanic landscape. The war tore families apart, as seen with Arminius and his brother Flavius. Flavius, loyal to Rome, clashed with Arminius over their divided loyalties. The emotional toll was immense, especially for Roman soldiers at the Varian site. Arminius, driven by a desire to protect his people, chose his Germanic identity over Rome. His decision cost him his brother and forced him into constant warfare. Germanicus's campaigns should have been a success, but Arminius remained free. At Edistoviso, Arminius was wounded but escaped, a symbol of defiance. The Romans realized victory was impossible. The costs were too high. Tiberius recalled Germanicus, accepting a limit to Roman power. The triumph celebrated Germanicus's victories, but Arminius was absent. Rome's dream of conquering Germania was over. Arminius had won. Arminius, the liberator of Germania, faced betrayal from within. His ambition to unify the tribes was seen as a threat. Civil war weakened his dream of a united Germania. In 21 AD, Arminius was assassinated by his own people. He was a hero to his people, but his ambition led to his downfall. Arminius's victory marked a shift in Roman strategy, abandoning expansion east of the Rhine. This decision shaped Europe's cultural and political map for centuries. Arminius ensured the survival of a distinct Germanic culture. His story became a myth, symbolizing resistance against foreign domination. It teaches us about power, loyalty, and the limits of empire.